Hello. Hello. Wow. You guys are Oh my god, it's the dude. Yeah, hi guys. Wow, there's like 4 of you waiting for me and you've already liked the video the live stream. I haven't got started. Okay, so I did get myself a little bit more organized. I have some newts for like the news. Okay, so my news for the week. We'll start with that. First thing, for anyone who was trying to catch up on last week's live stream, like afterwards, I'm sorry about like the gazillion ads that were in there. I was a bit slow getting onto that to fix it. Should I do a summary of it? No, I'll just talk about that first. So yeah, when I do a live stream, YouTube, like afterwards, automatically puts ads in, and it's just like they have an algorithm that, hello, they have an algorithm that reckons it places ads in like the best places to not disrupt the flow of the thing. And it's terrible. It pushes them all to the front of the live stream and does it like every 2 minutes or something ridiculous like that. And I'm just like, I've complained to them so many times and they don't fix it. And the thing is, right after I finish a live stream, I can't actually edit the ads until it's finished processing. And, you know, by then I've gone to sleep, and hopefully I remember the next day, but yeah, it's terrible. So I'm sorry about that. I have no control over it. Like it just automatically does it at the end, and like I can't even turn them off because it has to process the video before it lets me save any of that. So I'm sorry to anyone who's catching up, who was trying to catch up last week, because I was just so exhausted I didn't get on to it the next day. So more of you probably had to put up with that. With this one, like hopefully I'll get on to it tomorrow, but life has still been a bit crazy. So apologies in advance if you're one of the early people trying to catch up and you get a gazillion ads. So that's my first news of the week. Second news of the week, for anyone who is wondering, I am not in the floods. Yay, I'm safe. I did have at least one question from overseas people, because I think it's a bit like when Australia had all the bushfires, and as far as people overseas are concerned, like the whole country's on fire, or now the whole country's flooded. But no, I live on like the side of Sydney that is like miles away from the dam. The dam's overflowing, things are flooding. There's places north of Sydney that are flooding. There's places everywhere flooding, but not where I am. And even if this side of Sydney got flooded, I'm sort of up on a hill, so I'm okay. We had a couple of leaks in the roof, and if you remember, I think was it last year or the year before, or I don't know, I can't even remember. But if you remember the hole in the roof that I showed you guys, yeah, no, that's fine. We fixed that. We got a box gutter put in, and it's done a great job. The only thing that's leaking is like out in the back room. We did get the balcony upstairs redone, but it hasn't quite fixed the leak, although the leaks didn't seem as bad as they have in the past. So we had a couple of smaller than usual leaks. Leaks are common. Like this house is really old. It's like 100 years old, or I don't even know how old this house is. It's one of those houses that is so old it used to have a name. And apparently a little old lady came up and was like, can I have the name of your house? I grew up here, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, sure. No, so it's an old house. It's prone to getting problems like that. But we only had 2 leaks. So yay, that is my flood experience. Yeah, we're all good here. So don't worry about me. Next in the news thing. Okay, so I didn't really talk about the band auditions last week because I was trying to, you know, preserve my voice. As you can hear, everything is back to normal. So yay for vocal rest, and yay also me having good technique and not screwing myself up. When I growl a lot, my voice does sort of go down in pitch for a bit, and I always worry, but I don't get that kind of airy thing that you actually get with vocal damage. So, but I'm being careful, and that's why I do vocal rest days. But no, so with the auditions that I had before last week's live stream, I said no to both the bands. I could ramble about that later, but yeah, no band for me yet. Yeah, just and you know, I know I made that video where I was out and about and I was like, oh yeah, guys, I don't want to talk. I've just been to an audition. I don't want to talk because I'm resting my voice. That's half true. Some of it was also because I just didn't want to say my opinion straight up. I was Yeah, I went on a rant on Facebook later. Like at the moment I got on the train, I started writing stuff into my phone. So yeah. Anyway, so the second band I auditioned for though was better. It's just not my style of music. There you go in summary. But so no band for me yet. I have put a new ad up on Gumtree, but I've been a bit more like upfront with what I'm looking for and a bit more like I'm not your band mum and I don't know. We'll see if anything comes up, but I might be too busy for that in the next little while. So the next thing in my news of the week, and I can't believe we've already got through so much in 5 minutes, but so this might be the last live stream for a couple of weeks. I don't know. So what's going on is I applied to do some scare acting over Easter, and I've been asked to come in and meet them. So I don't think there's an audition. I think it's just on the basis of my performance CV and me saying that I can work the whole thing. Because like I have casual jobs, I can always tell them I need to go on hold for a couple of weeks. So yeah, I don't know if I've got the spot though. So if I am going to be doing this Easter scare acting thing, I'm going to be heaps busy from about I guess next week and then a couple weeks. Yeah, I'll just be too busy for YouTube for a bit. So yeah, make the most of this live stream, guys. It could be kind of fun because like I didn't think that scare acting was a thing in April. I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to wait until October, every year. But no, one of my friends who I did Hello Scream in 2019 with, he tipped me off about, thank you. He tipped me off about this thing, and so I applied. And yeah, so I'm going to go on Friday to talk to them, and I'm hoping that's when I'll find out if I've got it or not. So I guess like keep an eye on my community tab because I guess that's where, hey, yeah, I'm wearing my Yu-Gi-Oh pajamas. I actually fixed them. There's also, this elastic was broken, but I fixed it, and now my pants don't fall down. So if I need to run to the toilet, I won't embarrass myself in a live stream. And yes, I did fix them specifically thinking I might wear these on a live stream. But anyway, no, the Easter scare acting thing. So yeah, I'll post on my community tab if I do get it. If I don't get it, I guess I'll just schedule the next live stream as usual. So things are happening. And that also means there's probably not going to be any videos in that period if I do get it. Although, moving on to the next thing in the news, my news of the week. Oh, how organized am I this time? So the music video that I've been working on is basically finished. We just got to like fill in the details and sort out the copyright kinds of stuff. And then I don't know. I've got to talk to my collaborator about when we release it. So that could happen while this whole Easter thing is going on. And I'll probably put it as a premiere. Yeah, I don't know when, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll probably do it as a premiere. I don't know if he'll be able to join us, but yeah. So if I do get this Easter gig, that might still come out at some point. And I don't know. I think you can do like trailers for premieres now. So I don't know if I'll try that out. I think you can also tell premieres to like, once it's finished, to like send you to a live stream. And I'm like, oh, depending on what day, maybe I could just come on quickly and, question and answer about the music video. But there's actually 2 videos because one of them is the music video and then the other one is the lyric video. And I just had to do both. So there's 2 music videos. Two, except if I do that, it's 4. 2 music videos coming. Now, my Patreon guys have seen some of the characters in that, in the main music video. In the lyric video, I haven't shown any of that, but it's coming. The one thing is, though, if you have photosensitive epilepsy, I'm very sorry because especially the lyric video might be terrible. So I've put epilepsy warnings at the start of both the videos, but I made it slightly longer on the lyric video because like even me watching it, I'm like, I'm like, yeah, like it's pretty intense, and there are some bits where it's genuinely flashing, whereas in the regular music video it's not as harsh, I feel. So yeah, I put the longer epilepsy warning on the lyric video. So if I don't know exactly how it works, like I've been around epilepsy my whole life, but not necessarily photosensitive epilepsy, so I don't know like at what level it triggers, but there's a warning there just in case. And I'm really sorry to anyone who has that condition who might have been looking forward to it. The music video might be better, but if you have that, maybe don't watch the lyric video. I'm not sure about the music video, so I put the warning up there anyway. So that's just a warning, apology, and like it's coming. I don't know when. I genuinely don't know when. If I do get the Easter scare acting thing and it's too intense, we might postpone it until I'm finished. So definitely by like mid-April that should be out. So yay, music videos. Hello. It's not. Do I have to? Is that right? I don't know. Keeping up with the kids, right? I feel like we need a different one to say hello, but I don't know. This is why I need to get the membership so we can have the custom emojis, but that's going to take forever. Anyway, no. And then the last thing is just for Patreon. God, because this month has just been insane. But I think for this month, I might show you some of like my vocal progress on a cover that I'm hopefully going to be doing with raw riffs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so busy all the time. Do you think this COVID is going to end soon? Well, do I open it up for questions yet? Patreon. I think that's all I really had to say for Patreon. So I'll make sure I get that done before the end of the month. So I've got another week before I have to. So maybe this weekend I'll get that up on Patreon. I'm not always sure what I should be posting on Patreon because a lot of you guys are a bit quiet. I know Paper Vampire is up there with the feedback very quickly. But yeah, I'm not sure. So, you know, give me ideas. But also, like, my life is just, I don't even do anything with my life, and yet I'm always busy somehow. I just keep finding things to do. Hooray! Yeah. And then, yeah, no, one of these days I'll figure out the membership thing. But for now, I'm too busy to really think about it. And then also, like, I don't know, sometimes I feel a bit awkward with the Patreon memberships kind of thing in terms of like if people are paying me what they expect of me, because I did have like that one guy ages ago who was constantly asking me if I was upset. Like I can be vague sometimes when I'm unhappy about something, and so he kept messaging me like, oh, I hope it's not something I did. And I'd be like, no, it's not you. Like there's nothing you've done that's even close to even what I said vaguely. And so that was constantly going on. But then there was like one moment where he left Japanese, and I corrected the Japanese, and that's all I did. And suddenly he's just disappeared from all the social media, disappeared from Patreon. And like, he was supporting me like a reasonable amount. And I'm just all of a sudden, because I criticized your Japanese, like, and after like, he was constantly asking me, have I done something wrong? And I said, no. And then he did do something wrong. And I was just like, and all I said was, this is how you say it in Japanese. And suddenly, I don't know, people are weird. So that's one thing that I get a little bit like awkward is, I don't know, did he think that because he was paying me so much that I was going to just suck up to him constantly? So I don't suck up to people. If anyone's thinking of supporting me to like, I don't know, get something like that out of me, yeah, you've got the wrong idea. I'm hoping that people support my art and what I do and like my creativity and my insanity and all that. And I think most of you guys do. And most of you guys watching me, like even if you're not on my Patreon, I'm hoped that you are supporting me for just being the nutcase that I am, and not because you want something out of me that I can't give you, because that's not how this works. That's not who I am. I'm not like, what is it these days? Is it OnlyFans? I don't know. Cam, was that someone telling you to start an OnlyFans? Because then you could be a cam girl. Anyway, puns aside, so I think that's all the news. Let me get back into the comments. So I'm in it for the art videos. Okay. Let me think what what order I'm going to answer stuff. So I'll get back to the COVID thing in a sec. But while I'm thinking about ant videos, right? So one of my Facebook friends sent me, I think it's Ants Canada, one of his videos. And what he did is he got a bonsai and turned it into an ant farm and was like all excited about the ants milking mealybugs. And like, I get it, nature is exciting. But as someone who works in bonsai, I was just like, and my friend was asking if I could help do that. I'm like, no, I won't help you do that because, like, with bonsai, right? If there are ants inside your bonsai, it tends to mean that there's like the moisture isn't getting through. You probably need to repot it because the ants have crawled into all the dry spaces. If it's bone dry, I don't think ants like it, although it depends on the ant species. Maybe it's the species we have here in Australia. I don't know. But yeah, when I find ants in a bonsai, I'm like, oh, this is no good. And so like I try and brush them out and hope that they go and, take all their kids somewhere else. Saw the Ants Canada border forest. Oh God, I can't keep up. I don't like the channel because he's so dramatic and so clickbaity, and yeah, I can't watch it. But I just flicked through this video and I'm like, oh my God. And the other thing is, never mind the ants, mealybugs are a pest. We like at work, we have a maintenance service and people come in with these problems and we are the ones, we kill all the pests so that the tree can live. Like those pests, they are sucking the life out of the tree, and you're making a video celebrating that. And as someone who walks in bonsai, I'm just like, no, why would you do that? Like ants are fascinating, but no. And then he's wiring the wire on it. I was like, some of it was cutting in, and fortunately, like in a later video I was flicking through, I was like, okay, he's removed that wire that I was really like PTSD about. But just the way his wiring technique, and it was, I think it was like pure aluminium wire. We use copper coated aluminium wire because then it stops the, it's not, I don't think it's corrosion, but like aluminium gets a layer of stuff on the outside when it oxidizes. And so the copper stops that from happening. It blocks it because copper doesn't react to a whole lot of stuff that way. So, you can keep it out. He kept it indoors as well. I'm like, no, why? Bonsai are outdoor plants. Maybe if you live somewhere really cold, you can bring them in the winter, depending on the species. But like, so everything about it, I was just like, oh my God, why are you doing this? And why are you giving people this idea that they should do this with a bonsai? And he also had the thing on these two cups of soil, which he reckoned the pot, he had the drainage holes over these two things of soil, and he reckoned that's space for the ants to make a home in. And like, I get that, but then he's talking, like at one bit I flicked through, he's talking about the roots going through into that. And if the roots are going through from your bonsai pot into that, that's not good. The bonsai needs more space. You need to repot it. If you've actually got mesh in there, the roots are going to grow around that, and then anything that's growing down there is just no. And so yeah, I don't know. That was my rant about ants and bonsai. Thanks, Paper Vampire, getting me into a huff about that. let me catch up on the let me catch up on the comments. Okay, so I'll go back up. Do you think this COVID is going to end soon? Well, I don't know where you are, Shadow Deist Gaming, but I'm in Australia and we've basically eliminated COVID. Every now and then it'll pop up in a hotel quarantine kind of situation, but even when that's happened, it hasn't really spread very fast, so things are actually going okay here. So for us, it's not a big deal. If you're in Europe or in America, I feel for you because it looks terrible there. I think everyone's probably also got COVID fatigue. So in terms of like when the government asks you to follow these restrictions, I think people aren't doing it as much there because they've tried so many times and they haven't seen the results. Whereas here in Sydney, in Australia, we've had to deal with restrictions. In Melbourne people have had the worst of it, but like even like they followed it and it's gone. And now in Sydney, where I think on Monday, I think all restrictions are about to be lifted pretty much. Like even the masks on public transport, they're getting rid of. I think it's just recommended. So I'm sort of thinking, well, if it's just recommended and like there really isn't much going around, do I like what I've been doing is if I want to wear my this one, because you know it's fun if I'm dressing up all gothic, I wear this one, but it's only one layer, so I tend to put a surgical mask, a proper 3-layer underneath it. And I'm now thinking, well, I mean, I could still wear this, but if it's not as urgent, I might skip on the surgical one underneath just for some comfort. And the thing is, with the surgical ones, they're a bit big for me, so having this one on, it fits my face really well because it's like from Japan, and Japan sizes just work better for me. So it actually helps keep the proper surgical one on. Otherwise, I have my cat one, and that's like 2 layers. One of the layers is a bit, but it's 2 layers, so I don't worry as much about that one. But yeah. Anyway, so COVID in Sydney is not too bad. We're doing fine here. Oh, I missed a comment. Are you going to get a PS5? Dude, we've only got like a PS3 here. We didn't even get the PS4, and I haven't played PlayStation in ages. What's the last thing I probably played was a Magic the Gathering game, and I probably only got that because I wanted to get the special promo card. Yeah, so PlayStation, I'm not really a gamer. I do have the Alienware computer, but if you've watched my Final Fantasy playthrough, that didn't end well. So yeah, but at some point I'll probably get back to Free Space, but definitely after Easter because I'm just so busy. And we can see how Free Space 2, the original Free Space 2 from the CD-ROM, runs on the Alienware, because that's something I think will be fun and amusing. And I also want to get back to, we started a game together and I was playing in 4K, Civilizations Beyond Earth. Maybe we will continue that game, but in HD so that I can actually see what's going on. Where am I up to? You don't mad easily. Oh, I don't get mad easily. Not on the outside. So I've got to admit, after that first audition, I was like genuinely shaking, and I think it's from like repressed rage, because that was it did not go well. But on the outside, and to the people I was with, I was very polite. Maybe it's a Japanese thing. Maybe like, you know, you laugh behind your hand. And when people give me compliments, if I'm out in the wild, I tend to do this like small bow and that whole modesty thing. I can't help it. It's just a reflex, you know. And I guess also like school, because I did well in school, particularly like in the early years of high school. It was a bit overwhelming. Everyone like getting excited because of the marks I got. And so like, I think I actually hid under a desk once, because like it's kind of awkward when people are being that crazy. But no, on the outside, I think I have a bit of that Japanese thing where they're polite to your face and they'll stab you in the back kind of thing. I keep a lot of the rage on the inside, and that's probably why I've got issues. Maybe that's why I'm DestroyerMariko. What a sook. Oh yeah. Yeah, what was I talking about just then? It was the guy who didn't like his Japanese being corrected. Like, if you're trying to learn another language, don't you want people to help you if you got something wrong? I don't know. I don't get it. I wasn't even mad that he had the wrong Japanese. I was just like, oh, it's cute that he's trying, but I'll fix it for him. Yeah, no, apparently that's reason to just completely cut me out. Give me a moment, guys. I actually was not that organized. So after the news, we watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because I'm so sick of 7:30, and they're just going on the same kinds of, yeah. And it's also Laura Tingle, and when she presents the news, she does this nodding kind of thing, and da-da-la-la-la, and da-da-la-la-la. And once I noticed that, I can't watch her anymore. It's like, oh, Laura Tingle. Yes, she's always got a nod when she's trying to make a point. I can't do it. So like, even if she's presenting something that I might be interested in, I just can't. Anyway, so we watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like my brother has watched it so many times that he like knows what they're going to say before they say it. And the rest of us are just like, all right then. But yeah, so then I had like almost forgot to make my tea, and it's probably cold enough for me to drink. I haven't drunk any yet. So give me a moment, guys. So I'm sorry, this is going to be one of those videos where I have to stop every now and then to drink. And I'm probably going to have to run to the bathroom. But because I fixed the elastic on my Yu-Gi-Oh pants, they're not going to fall down when I'm running off. Where am I up to? I'm in it for the ant videos. Okay, we had that one. Your quirkiness is awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like that, because otherwise I'd just be like this weird narcissist on the internet. I mean, I guess I kind of am anyway, but at least someone is enjoying it instead of me just like, I don't know, being some random peacock. Cam girl, yes, I love that pun. I've been waiting for ages, and finally someone made it, and I was just like, Cam, you have to marry this person. Anyway, Ants Canada Border Forest. I just he's very much one of those like YouTube business people, I feel, where everything he does is to sell. Like he definitely makes money from selling the products, and I think that's also why he hypes up the videos and stuff and does the clickbaity kind of things, because it's a business and he's gone a little bit too much into the money thing. I don't know. There are other people who make ants videos that are much easier for me to watch. Like they're not overhyping it, they're just showing you what's going on. And those ones, I haven't watched any ant stuff in a while though, because I don't have ants anymore. I only have me octopus dude. Yeah, so I have seen those. So if you guys watched my video of the ant carrying away my toenail like a sword, I trimmed my fingernails and I saw the little ants carrying off my fingernails, but they're so small and they were so gone. This is when before I washed my hair, and I think I'd scratched my hand, so my fingernails were a little bit blue, so that was kind of fun. But I didn't have my phone on me, and they were like the tiny ants, not that slightly larger size. So yeah, I didn't get that footage for you, unfortunately. They're a bunch of creeps on OnlyFans. Don't make one, you're better than that. Yeah, I don't actually know much about OnlyFans. I know at least one person who's on it, and I think they do like some kind of modeling thing, but based on context that I've seen people talking about OnlyFans, to me it sounds like it's probably something a little bit shady, right? I'm not gonna ask. It's not somewhere I'm gonna go. It's like, what's that dating app where you swipe left or right? I can never remember which one's left or right. I suppose, would it make sense that swiping right would be like right as in correct? I don't know. I can't even remember the name of the dating app. It probably ends with an R because they all end in Tinder. Is that the one? Anyway, yeah, no, I'm really bad at apps and stuff. Where are we up to? European third wave is coming, and we have a mask. The government said 50% of the people have stopped caring. Yeah, see, that's what I think about COVID fatigue, is once there's been so much going on, people sort of get over it. It's a bit like I have, what fatigues do I have? I have like environmental fatigue, because like from a small child, like save the planet kind of stuff. And I'm just, I can't anymore. And I guess having had mental health issues, like it's kind of hard to care about the wider world when I can't even fix myself. Like, what am I going to do for the planet? I'm just trying to survive kind of thing. So I've got a bit of that fatigue. I think I also had like Australian history fatigue, because when you're growing up in Australia, quite often you have to learn a lot of Australian history type things. And I think also in the religion course, because I went to a Catholic school, when they talk about religion, they sometimes talk about how the church had a role in Australian stuff. And I'm just like, I can't even. And I used to be also really interested in Aboriginal dreaming stories. But then the school, like, they put me in some sort of, this is one of the weird gifted and talented things. I think it was for history, which I don't understand because I wasn't great at history. Like I was a maths kid, not a history kid. But I think in that they tried to get me to track down some information about some behind the scenes stuff with writing down stories. And I'm just like, I don't know how to find this. And this is before Google was very good. I think Google existed then, I'm not sure. How long ago is that? I'm so old. Oh my God. But yeah, and I'm just like, I just want to I just care about the stories. Where is it? Where is it? Uh-oh, I've got a random choc chip bar I've got to do something with at some point. Probably should eat it. You know, I just like to read the books. Although, like, there are some things, I read this the other day, and there are some continuity issues that have bugged me since childhood. But now as an adult, I'm like, I can't look past this anymore. But it's still a fun book. The Rainbow Serpent. Yeah. But no, I like myths themselves, whether it's Aboriginal dreaming or ancient Egypt stuff or Greek mythology and whatever. Of course, I tend to go for the censored kids versions because I've bumped into some of the more uncensored adult versions, and I'm just like, yeah, so people have always been fucked up, hey. But yeah, that's all I wanted to know is like reading the stories. But no, they were trying to get me to look at like how the stories came to be written down, given that Aboriginal cultures don't really have a written language. And so like when did the European settlers start writing down? I'm just like, how do you even look that up? Maybe now you could look it up, but at the time I was just like, and then, you know, they call these gifted and talented programs, but they didn't help me figure out this stuff. It's just like, go sit in the library and look stuff up. I'm like, what a waste of time. At least with the math stuff, they give you problems to solve, even if they didn't tell you the things you needed to know, like, you know, giving me algebra to solve when I didn't know what algebra was. And like, how am I supposed to know that X and Y are stand-ins for numbers, or like, you know, adding A plus B and all this kind of stuff? How am I supposed to just know that what you mean by that is like that these are representing numbers? They didn't tell me that. I was just like, how do you add letters? Like, you know. And then finally we get to high school and they teach you that stuff, and I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like, they could have told me that. You could have taught me this stuff in primary school. But no, you just give me a problem and think that I'm magically gonna I can't even. Where am I up to? I didn't know Yu-Gi-Oh was in Australia. Oh, come on. Come on. It's anime. Anime is everywhere. And Yu-Gi-Oh was big enough that it was on like Nickelodeon and so on when I was younger, and, you know, watching Foxtel and stuff. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh. No, Yu-Gi-Oh's fun, especially because like they've got so much split personality type things in there. So of course I'm into that, and it's ancient Egypt stuff, so I'm into that, and it's Japanese, and I'm half Japanese, so yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh. And I've played the card games, although these days it's too much. They keep bringing in these new mechanics, and I'm just like, come on. I don't want to learn the new stuff. I like the stuff that was in the original show, and beyond that, not so much. I've also played Magic the Gathering, which it's kind of based on. I don't know, card games. It's frustrating because like cards are always being made illegal, and then there's new stuff, and then you have to spend more money. Anyway, where am I up to? Played any Pokemon or Neopets lately? Talk about it if you feel like it. Oh my god. I haven't played Pokemon. I don't play Pokemon anymore. I was waiting to see if Nintendo Switch would be exciting, and I wasn't excited by it. So yeah, I didn't get a 3DS either. So I haven't played Pokemon since DS, because that's the last one I have. I have a DS Lite somewhere. I did restart Soul Silver at some point, but yeah, never got around to. Oh, I can see it. It's gathering dust over there. Yeah, when they switched to 3DS, I think that was like Pokemon X and Y, and I wasn't feeling it, and I prefer the old style where you're looking from above. Like, there was one time they did introduce a mild 3D movement when you're looking from above, and that threw me off. Like, I felt a bit ill at first. I did get used to it, but I prefer that sort of thing. Whereas I think they've gradually brought more 3D stuff into it, and I'm not into that. And then they bring in these weird new mechanics, and I'm not into that. And then they make things too easy, like poison damage when walking. What happened to that? Like, at first they didn't get rid of it completely, but I think you don't faint at the end. They leave you with 1 HP, and I'm like, what's with that? and then they just got rid of the whole thing entirely. I'm like, kids these days aren't going to know the urgency of like just getting to the Pokemon Center and then dying before you can heal. But hey, that's me being old. And then there's too many different Pokemon and some really terrible designs that came out, and I just fell behind. Actually, probably the last Pokemon I played would have been Pokemon Go, but I stopped playing that. I guess as they were starting to introduce new Pokemon. I think I played some of the second generation, and then I think Mum got bored, and I was hanging on just to help Mum play at the end. But once she got bored, I stopped playing. So yeah, no more Pokemon for me. I do personally, I think the first 2 generations were the best, but that's probably me showing my age. I'm so old. I'm not hip with the kids. And also, Pokemon is such an old franchise these days, right? That Nintendo must know that a lot of its fans are like old people like me, and some of us would like darker themes in Pokemon sometimes, and maybe a bit more of a difficult game instead of just catering to the youngest kids. Like, what about us old people? Make a more interesting Pokemon game. There's so much potential. There's so many unanswered questions. Like, you know, Pokemon being conscious inside the tiny Pokeball. What's it like in a Pokeball? And like, you know, there's all kinds of stuff they could explore at a more adult level, and they just don't. Where I'm up to. Oh, as for Neopets, yeah, I've just been doing my daily rounds. And although I've moved on from, I still play a bit of the Pyramids game, but I've been playing Scarab 21 more, I think. And this is all while I'm watching YouTube. What am I watching on YouTube these days? Oh, God, I can't even remember. I think I've been watching Space Doc, and he like analyzes spaceships. And probably his best one is complaining about the lack of toilets in science fiction. There's not too many that like even seem to design it within the ship. Even on like video games where you can actually walk around and explore, he's complaining that there's no toilets. And so, you know, good luck if you're on a months-long space mission and you can't take a shit. That was amusing. But no, he also looks at like, I don't always agree with him, but you know, the designs of spaceships, what's logical and all that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of interesting. And then peppering that in with like, I don't know, Sky News Australia is just funny to watch sometimes. And then there's a few other things. Oh, I watched Pauline Hanson last night. I have no idea what she was talking about, but it was like, yeah, okay, I guess. These are the hobbies that I have. But, you know, some of those people who get very over the top about something, it's amusing to watch, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything. I'm kind of curious how Beyond Earth will run in the late game on your supercomputer. Yes, well, on my old computer, I used to run like a massive map. But towards the end of the game, if I moved the screen a little bit, all the tiles would be black and it would have to load up all the tiles. So I am interested to see how the Alienware goes with Beyond Earth. I imagine it's not going to struggle as much, but it might get a bit noisy and like, you know, hot from it. Although if I'm playing in HD, which is what the old computer could just handle, if I'm playing in HD, maybe it'll be all right. 4K would probably be more of a real test, but I couldn't read the text when it was 4K. Like, I even have a decent sized screen these days, but my eyesight's just not that good. So maybe the computer is made for 4K, but my eyes are not. So, like, yeah, I can't do it. What's that coffee? It's not coffee. This is my chamomile tea. I don't drink coffee. I only drink tea. I just don't like the taste of coffee. It seems really gross. And then chamomile I have at nighttime, hoping that it'll calm me down and help me sleep, but I don't think it really does anything. I think it's just nice. It gives me an excuse to have some more tea. It's also got honey in there. I'm not crazy enough to drink it straight. Although I do sometimes drink tea if there's no sugar and stuff around. Like the first sip is a bit gross, but after that, my mouth is like, oh, okay, we're doing this today, and then it's fine. So yeah, I know I definitely prefer tea. My favorite tea is Lady Grey tea because I am an egotistical narcissist. And when I was little, I was like, Lady Grey, that's me. It's spelt wrong, but it's still me. So Lady Grey tea. I think it's called Tinder. Yes, that's the thing I was talking about. Tinder. Thank you for confirming. Because yeah, I'm not. I know that there's like it's a dating app and there's swiping left or right, but I don't know which one goes which because I've never used the thing. Twerk and wedgie videos. Be on OnlyFans. I swear people will do anything for money. Oh my god. Oh, how depressing. Google ruined YouTube. I don't know. I think Google might have already been in charge of YouTube by the time I came along. I'm not sure. The design of YouTube was very different. That's when you could customize stuff. And I posted a screenshot of that on Patreon a long time ago because I dug it up. And I still have my printout that I did of my channel ages ago. And they used to rank you by region. And it used to be the 5-star rating system instead of like and dislike. But no, the customization, and you could write so much about yourself. And yeah, no, it was a bit more MySpacey back then. And it also was more vlog, like more social, and more about vlogs. And then, of course, like companies came along and started making these more corporate videos. And then you've got like video creators who become more professional and make these like more elaborate, polished videos. And yeah, it's changed. Although, like, it's kind of inevitable, I think, that happened. Yeah, I don't think YouTube was ever going to stay, like, even if Google hadn't come along, if YouTube was going to stay viable, I just feel like that is just how it was going to be, and we couldn't stay in that wild west of the early internet forever. I love the Rainbow Serpent as a kid. Yeah, it's probably my favorite that we had in the school library, and now I have one. Yeah, but there are some continuity issues. Like at the start, it talks about how there were only people, no animals or birds, no trees or bushes, no hills or mountains. The country was all flat. And then, like, the very next page, they start showing you that there's trees, and then they say there's no animals, but later on, they can't get into shelter because this lady has too many dogs. And I'm like, where did the dogs come from? I thought you said there were no animals. And, like, that stuff's bothered me since I was a kid, but I'd forgotten about it. And then I'm reading it again, and I'm like, this still bugs me. But I guess that's kind of how all those myths are like, Aboriginal dreaming, or the Bible with all its contradictions. And like, I think that's just especially because it's usually an oral tradition before it gets written down, and the Bible was oral tradition before it got written down. So it's all the same kind of thing where like things get passed on and details get mixed up, and it's not necessarily meant to be completely logical or continuity solid, or what do you even call it? It's got like, they just, plot holes happen and no one really thinks much of it because it's just a story, I guess, but it annoys me. I was at the gym. This woman was skinny, but she had a 6-pack. Yeah, nope. I'm just skinny. There's nothing. I do sit-ups, but that probably isn't enough. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, skinnier than you. Do you have a 6-pack? No, so I don't have a 6-pack. So I just skipped I didn't even read that comment until now. But yeah, no, I don't really work out. I did have a gym membership once, but because at the time I was actually properly underweight, and so like when you sign up to this particular gym, they give you a personal trainer to show you different things and come up with a sort of exercise routine. And the routine they gave me in order to exercise but not lose weight, it's just, I just want to, like, if I'm going to be there, I just want to get on a treadmill and run, or, just do whatever. But no, you have to do like this high intensity thing and for like 2 minutes and then stop for a bit and then go again and then stop for a bit. And like, it's too much thinking about it and too much keeping track of stuff. Like, why can't I just get in there and get on the thing and just go, And then you're not supposed to go to the gym when you're sick. And of course I got sick and fell out of the habit. And the only other thing they had there that, I would go for was the classes. But after you've done a few classes, you realize all the classes are exactly the same. There's no progression. Like when I used to do dance as a kid, you would actually progress and you would actually, like different classes would teach you new things like each week instead of being the same shit over and over, and you would be working towards a concert at the end of the year. Whereas at the gym, I guess because they don't necessarily have people there regularly, they have to cater to the lowest common denominator. And I was just like, my brain's not into this. So yeah, the gym didn't work out for me. Yu-Gi-Oh! Love that game. I have a Galaxy Eyes deck that's unstoppable. Oh, I only had like the very basic early cards. I've got like, Blue Eyes, White Dragon, Dark Magician type stuff. I didn't buy too many later on and have well and truly fallen out of, like, I know there's like cards with the white background and the black background and they do all these other kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, not for me. First gen Pokemon was the best by far. Yes. Yeah, no, there's some things that they did later that I'm just like, why? And also the later versions of Pokemon, they become more elaborate and they start reminding me of Digimon, like in terms of the design aesthetic. And I don't know, they don't have as much of like what I associated with Pokemon. I mean, I know it's just me being old, but yeah, it started to feel a bit more Digimon. And like, I like Digimon, but in a different way. Digimon, the cartoon, was great. It's like Digimon and Pokemon are opposites in that sense. Like the Pokemon games were great. The Digimon game, if you can really call it that, is very basic. But the Digimon cartoon was epic, whereas the Pokemon cartoon is just the same formula over and over. Although the early episodes of Pokemon are pretty awesome, especially the first episode. It's just like, Spearows. You're not that old. You don't have a cane or granny panties. What? Hey, how old am I? I don't know if I age. Let me just have some of my tea, guys. Yeah, no, one of the bands that I auditioned with, they're like in their early 20s, and they asked me how old I was, and I was like, do you want to play the guessing game? Because that's always fun for me. And they had thought that I was their age. I'm like, no. I'm like 10 years older. Which may explain more of why that didn't work out, because they're like basically kids and they don't know what they're doing. But yeah, no, so people still think I'm heaps young, and I don't really understand it. I could be a vampire. We come full circle on my YouTube journey, and it turns out I was a vampire all along. Oh dear. Like, see, when am I going to get a chance to make those vampire videos again? I don't even know. No, so I don't have a cane. I'm not really sure what counts as granny panties, but I'm not going to show them to you. You have to crap in a bucket and flush it out the air. Like, oh. For a moment, I was like, hang on, what's this about? And then I remembered, oh yeah, Space Doc, because I'm so behind in comments today. I'm sorry, guys. There's so many of you here. Isn't this fun? Yeah, no, so you have to crap in a bucket and flush it out the air. Well, I guess that depends on whether or not the spaceship has gravity, although you'd hope to be in that. Like, the way we do spaceships in real life without any gravity generation, that makes that kind of thing interesting, going to the toilet. Yeah. I think one of the examples Space Dot gave was also a little bit like, yeah, all right. Let's not repeat that. On the theme of Pokemon Darkness, I'm trying to do a Pokemon fan video. Oh, sorry, a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon in Vivo. I'm trying to make it more realistic and darker, where you put brain implants to control a Pokemon. We'll probably never finish it, but got any ideas for darker themes in Pokemon? Well, yeah, no, it's interesting how, like once you catch a Pokemon with Pokeball, they kind of have that loyalty, and then if you ever trade them or they become someone else's Pokemon, they still kind of have a loyalty to you, and it takes a very skilled trainer to control someone else's Pokemon. Um, there's interesting stuff like that, and like, what's the basis of it? I mean, I guess magic, because like it's not the real world, and Pokemon aren't real creatures; they're like magical creatures. So that probably explains that. That's just like a rule of the universe. But the brain implants. It kind of makes me think of ah, not the first movie, maybe the second Mewtwo movie, where Mewtwo gets voiced by the same guy who did Yu-Gi-Oh! Um, and I think he was trying to use a specific type of Pokeball that would control Pokemon. That was an interesting kind of thing. I think in Pokemon Black and White, they tried to go for a sort of darker thing by going for like the animal rights of Pokemon. And I think, I mean, did I finish that game? I don't remember how far I got in Pokemon Black. But it just felt like they're trying to make a, I don't know, it was kind of weird because the bad guys are the ones fighting for Pokemon rights, but I'm a good guy, and like they're kind of making a point like, are you enslaving the Pokemon? Are they really your friends? It was very strangely done, at least to where I got up to, because I genuinely don't remember. I think I played it very slowly, and that was like the last proper Pokemon game I played, because by then, I mean, Diamond and Pearl was bad enough, but yeah, Pokemon Black. I think I only played Pokemon Black and White because they went for a duality that I was like, how can I not play this one? Um, so yeah, but I was a bit underwhelmed. And what point were they trying to make? I don't know. It was very strange. So there's definitely the control element in Pokemon that you could explore. There's also like what happens to Pokemon, like in the Pokeballs, because I think like there's got to be a reason that Pikachu didn't want to get in one, right? So yeah, that's one that I've thought about more recently as I've pondered the bonsai that my boss gave me that doesn't want to be in a bonsai pot, and then I think more about Pikachu that doesn't want to be in a Pokeball, and yeah, no, so that's why that's been on my mind. Um, and then like, if Pokemon was real, like, with Team Rocket, right? And the abuse and all that kind of stuff. I think I had some other ideas about Pokemon in a darker way, but I can't think of them off the top of my head because that topic sort of Pokemon is already pretty dark when you think about it. Do you have a lot of enemies? I don't know, because like there's people I dislike and there's people who don't like me, but I don't know that I'd call enemies. Like I I don't sit around hating anyone in particular. Um Maybe I'll avoid working with them because like why would you work with someone that you dislike? But yeah, no, I don't think I have any enemies. There might be people who consider me an enemy because when I was with Rainbow Death Ray, there was this one girl who did a thing and was like saying she had a personal vendetta against me, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Why the hate? I still to this day do not know what that was about. And then I think at AIM, there was like one dude who was having a go at me for having been there so long, acting like I'm heaps rich, but like I have a massive government debt from education. Like that's not me being heaps rich. That's me just, like the system is there to help you get through uni, but I've had so many mental health problems and tried so many things, and now I have a massive government debt, and you've completely misunderstood the situation. But I think he had a bug up his butt about me, and I don't know why, because I didn't know who he was. So yeah, every now and then there's shit like that. And yeah, I don't know, like I couldn't think of anyone as an enemy because I just don't dwell on that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's people who do strange things, people who, yeah, I wouldn't hang out with, but I don't know. So I don't know if that answers that question. Where am I up to? Oh my god, hang on. My nose. Oh, I've got to remember to take some Dimetapp before I go to bed. My tea's getting cold, so just give me a moment to finish this. Okay, where am I up to? Do you have a lot of enemies? But just think about all those human-like Pokemon. You basically enslave them. Well, you know, like, did Jinx get cancelled or something? Or I don't know. There was a lot of disapproval because someone decided that that was like a caricature of Black people. I didn't really follow though, but some of those early designs were a bit odd, like the human-like ones. For me, the thing about Jinx is like she had these massive boobs, and I'm like, yeah. But anyway, no, there are some odd Pokemon out there, and you're like, I'm not sure that this should be a thing. But anyway, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to bring into the game, like making people think about how dark the concept is if you think about it. And the breeding of Pokemon as food, Pokemon brothels, Pokemon as food, right? In the early cartoon, they reference real animals alongside Pokemon. So at some point, were there real animals in this universe? Like, I think there was one with the ghosts. And I think they scared off, I was either Ekans or Arbok got scared because was it a mongoose, or I'm not so familiar with those animals we don't have in Australia. Like, not even at the zoo, but like that animal that eats snakes or attacks them or whatever, and it was not a Pokemon. I think maybe they did later come up with, was it Zangoose or some Pokemon that looks a little bit similar, and I do wonder if that was to fill that continuity hole. But I don't know, they seem to reference animals early on in the Pokemon series, and so I wonder. And then also, when you look at Pokedex entries, they always reference real life animals and stuff, like, you know, like a mouse-like Pokemon. Okay, do you know what a mouse is? So yeah, like, are there real animals in the Pokemon universe, and what makes them different from Pokemon? What is it about Pokemon that makes it possible to capture them, that makes it possible for them to shoot fire and stuff like that? Where am I up to? I should put my mouse roughly where I'm up to, and then I'll know. The breeding Pokemon brothers. Just the fact that you have Pokemon fight each other. I think that's partly what that Pokemon animal rights kind of thing in Black and White was. Who the president in your country? We don't have a president. We have a prime minister. I live in Australia, and our prime minister is Scott Morrison. He tries to act like, you know, the daggy dad of Australia. And I guess, like a typical dad, he keeps managing to, like, just dig a hole for himself. Or at least that's what he's doing lately. Yeah, no, we have a prime minister because, you know, technically the Queen of Britain is our head of state. I think she's technically called the Queen of Australia. But the funny thing is, she has no power here. She's purely symbolic, a bit like the Shinto emperor in Japan. Like, these people are just symbolic. And like, I like not having a president, because then we don't end up with an American style situation where one person can just completely screw up so much stuff. Yeah, and you know, it seems to balance itself out reasonably well, because if the leader of a party, and the leader of the party in majority is the prime minister, and if they're not doing a good job, then the party just knifes them in the back and you get someone else. And because, like, all of Australia has to vote, they kind of have to make sure that they don't have an insane person there. The last properly insane person to hold the position of prime minister, I think, was Tony Abbott, because even like liberal voters that I know were like, towards the end, were just we got to get rid of this guy. He's batshit insane. So, once you've got the liberal supporters saying that, then you've got a proper problem. But yeah, no, he got knifed after saying, "Oh, Labour keeps knifing each other. We're not going to do that." Boom, you're going to. So yeah, no, Australian politics is a bit different to like American or European or whoever has presidents. Yeah, and the Queen genuinely has no power here, and also the Governor General now has to be an Australian these days. It's not the same as when Gough Whitlam was in. So I'm pretty happy with that. Some people get emotional and they're like, we should have an Australian head of state. But I'm like, who gives a shit? It doesn't affect anything. I like that we don't have one person who can screw everything up. So, I mean, if we wanted to become a republic, I would have to see what style of republic people are proposing. If it's just the same where, like, the Governor General doesn't actually do anything and they just become president, I could deal with that. But if you're trying to create an American style president, fuck off, let's stick with the monarchy. So I guess I'm a bit like utilitarian. Is that the right word? I don't know. How fast can you run? It depends on whether or not the bus has already pulled into the bus stop and I'm desperate to make it. It's like the only time I run these days. I come around the corner, the bus is there, shit. And so I start running. But if it's already pulling out, I'm not going to bother. If I think I have a chance, I will run until my lungs are burning. Loyalty, forced simulation of the pleasure. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, that's that. You're getting dark now, aren't you? Pokemon Stockholm Syndrome. Wow. Paper, where did you get Pokemon brothels from? Is this in the show? Yeah, Pokemon Daycare. I just skimmed down a bit. Yeah, Pokemon Daycare is you put a guy and a girl Pokemon in there and you hope that they lay an egg. Who knows where the egg came from? Where am I up to? How often do those giant spider get inside your house in Australia? It's not that often, although with all the flooding that's been happening, particularly up north, I've seen pictures where like these people's fence was completely covered in spiders that had crawled away from the floods to, get out of the water. And those spiders were not too bad, I think, but they're worried about funnel webs coming out. And so mum's had a bit of a panic, but we're nowhere near any of that stuff. But yeah, no, usually the big ones we usually get around here are the huntsman, and huntsman spiders, like they're big and they're hairy, but they're harmless. And they eat the bits of garbage, the annoying insects. So I don't mind them, but if we see one, my brother usually will catch it and take it outside because it's just a better place for them to be. And like, I don't mind them, but when you see one out of the corner of your eye or when it runs across your pillow in the middle of the night, you're like, yeah, okay, you've overstayed your welcome. So that's what we do. We send them outside. But yeah, no, they're not the poisonous ones. It's usually the little ones you have to worry about, but and so those ones, huntsman's, once you got all the legs spread out, it's about that big, I think, usually, maybe a bit smaller. I don't know. They're big and they're hairy and they like to run around. They run fast. So where I'm up to. What happens in the Pokeball? Yeah. Because like there is some evidence to suggest that Pokemon are still conscious inside the Pokeball. What's going on in there? Who knows? And does it matter what type of Pokeball? Because there are different types. And like there was that love ball. I'm gonna sneeze. I really got to take some Dimetapp. Yeah, no, there is evidence to suggest that they're conscious inside the Pokeballs, and at one point they introduced those. I think they're called love balls, or maybe they're called friendship balls, or maybe there's both, and they're supposed to make the Pokemon like you more, which is a bit manipulative, maybe. And you have Pokemon. That's not. Hope not. Though I wonder if Pokemon STDs could technically be a gem Pokemon. Huh? And you mean brothels for Pokemon by Pokemon? Are there gem Pokemon? You do have coffees. Coughing is a poison Pokemon. It's different. Um, no idea. Check it out, and if there isn't, try selling the idea to Nintendo as educational games. Oh my god. Oh, coughing. Yeah. Psyduck. The orange just sound tasty. Magikarp fillet. Oh my god, you guys are getting so carried away. Although, like, if you consider Pokemon seem to have, for the most part, higher intelligence than your average animal, that does raise some questions in terms of, like, eating them. Because if they are more intelligent, and if we tend to think that more intelligent animals shouldn't be eaten, should you be eating Pokemon? Um, but yeah, no. As for the germ idea in Pokemon, I don't know. I'm a bit out of the loop with developments in Pokemon, but I don't know that there's any kind of Pokemon virus. But yeah, I haven't played any recent games, so I think Pokemon can get sick though. I mean, they can get poisoned. Like, does that count? And they can get paralyzed and have things happen to them. I'm just not sure that that's the same kind of thing. And then there are in-game events like where Miltank was sick, and you had to go and get like these bottles of milk or something to feed it, and then it was happy again. What was it sick of? I don't know. But then on the other hand, those things are kind of like a potion, so maybe it was just lower HP. I don't know. If they're anything like actual animals, then you want a deer type Pokemon rather than a Psyduck. Remember that the Psyduck in the show is slow. The regular ones would mess you up with their brains. Wait, what are we talking about now? Oh my god. Deer are pretty dangerous as well, IRL. Just imagine you go to a restaurant and you order a Magikarp and it evolves into Gyarados before they can cook it. See, that's probably one argument for not doing that to Magikarp. Oh my god. Is either I'm gonna stick with the deer, not the fish. Black Widow, Spider are dangerous. Yeah, do we have those? I don't know, like, I know we like to say that Australia is full of dangerous stuff, but I live in the city. The city is like pretty chill. There are bugs in the backyard, especially because I've been doing more gardening type stuff, and I've made my little patch of the garden actually quite attractive to insects because they all want to come in for the pollen and eat some of the kale, which is somehow still surviving. And then, of course, the bigger bugs come. And yeah, so, but like it, probably the assassin bug was maybe the craziest one, and I was like, oh, I better not go too close to him because they bite. And it took a while for me to get an identification. Facebook helped me out with that. But yeah, otherwise it's like, most of the spiders are just little ones, or like, the ones I see are usually the huntsman. There are some that, like, the ones that look like an X, those ones freak me out because they have scary colors, like, the yellow and black, and that's usually a warning color, and so I'm like, I'm not going near them. My old high school used to have heaps of them out in the garden where the lavender was, and I was like, yep, not going through there. And at work, at Bonsai, when I got to the back area, if I'm going towards, there's like this place where we store a lot of plastic pots. If I'm going to get one, I usually like try and wave something in front of me in case there's a spider web in front, because the last thing I need is that crawling around in my hair. Pay me after DestroyerMariko wiki. There are like in-jokes in this channel that need to be documented, I think, for like the noobs who come in and like, we mention something and no one knows if they haven't been around long enough. So like that could be handy at some point, but yeah, I wouldn't, like, if it was up to me, it would never get done because my life, I don't know why I'm so busy all the time. Like, I swear a lot of the time I'm just sitting there with YouTube and Neopets. But at the same time, I am getting a lot of crazy shit done, and I don't know, like, how does that happen? Do I just zone out and things happen? This is the thing, like, sometimes my memory just isn't reliable, and like when you're depressed, right? you tend to remember negative memories more than positive memories, and so, like, that's enough of, like, it's weird because, like, one of the ways I define myself or have in the past is, like, by my memories, and the more experiences you have, the more memories you have, and that influences the person you become, right? But what if you only have access to certain memories at certain times? So when I'm depressed, I have different memories. I might as well be a different person to some extent. Like, there's some overlap, but it's different. And then, so, like, when I'm trying to think now, what do I do every day? And I just zone out and stuff happens. And, like, what did I even, I don't know. Like, I swear a lot of the time I waste watching YouTube playing Neopets. But I've also done these auditions. I know I've done that. Um, I've done the voice acting thing. Actually, I've got to check my bank account after this to make sure that that's gone through. Because once I get paid for that, I have to sign a release form, I think. And then I get a credit in a movie. What is this life? So, like, I'm doing things and I remember that, but it's just like the first thing I think of when I think about what I do every day is YouTube and Neopets. Um, Bless you. Oh, is that because I sneezed? Being mixed race, do you ever have times where you feel more Japanese than white or vice versa? I think in everyday life, I mean, like, I look white, right? And so I guess people tend to treat me that way. And I've also grown up in Australia, so I guess I feel like I just go through the world like that. But every now and then something happens and I realize I'm more Japanese than I thought. So, for example, I didn't realize I was doing that small bow thing until maybe a few years ago. So I don't even know when I started it, but it's probably like in the music scene when people come up to you after a show. I think I was doing that even then, just because, like, I don't know how to respond when people are like saying how good I did something. That's just my response, is to be a bit like, I don't know how to take this. I think possibly one thing is when I was really young and first finding out I was good at stuff, if you say, yeah, I'm so good, people are like, oh, you're really up yourself, kind of thing. And so maybe that got into me early. And so now I can't take credit for stuff that easily. I can talk to you guys more easily about it because I think you know me, well, maybe well enough that, like, I'm not trying to brag. It's just part of my life, right? But when I'm faced with strangers, I think, that just kicks in, is like, I don't want to seem like I'm overly up myself, maybe. And then I guess some of the cultural Japanese stuff that I picked up over time. And then sometimes I accidentally say some Japanese, if someone is saying something to me, if I'm saying what, but what I might say is nani. And I picked that up in one trip to Japan, like, I don't know, half a lifetime ago. And my cousins were quite young and they would say nani a lot. And I just picked it up on that trip. And then another thing I didn't realize until my master's degree, where I had class with a Japanese guy, and he said, when I say if something happens and I'm confused, like eh, 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 apparently that's Japanese. He's like, no one in Australia does that. Like, that's a Japanese thing. And I didn't know until he said that. Like, it took a Japanese person for me to realize that I was doing things like that. So when stuff like that happens, maybe I feel more Japanese. Also, like, throughout my life, I give my name and like, to teachers or wherever, and people are like, oh, where's that name from? And then I have to say, oh, it's from Japan. And then they look more closely at me and they're like, oh yeah, I guess your eyes kind of this is the pattern of my life. And then, no one being able to pronounce my name, and people agonizing over how should they pronounce my name. And I'm just like, I don't care. As long as I know what to respond to, it's not a big deal. No one, not even my Japanese mother, calls me Mariko. No one calls me Mariko. So who gives a shit? Like, it's not a big deal if you mispronounce my name. I get it. It's the Japanese accent is weird for Westerners, and I just don't give a shit. So yeah, in when I go to Japan, I guess it becomes even more obvious that I'm super white, and so they tend to think I'm a tourist. And then I'll say like arigato with the accent and all that, and they're like, "Oh, you've learned our language." I'm like, "No, I don't actually understand that much. I just know how to say certain things." But they get excited about that. And then I find, like, when I say I'm from Australia, my mum's Japanese, and I think being Australian in Japan helps. Like, I don't know what their attitude is to like British or Americans, but they seem to really like Australians. I think a lot of people around the world like Australians, maybe because of like the mythology of Aussies. Fair dinkum, she'll be right, mate. Yeah, so I don't know, like, I don't really feel a race, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think about it a lot. Like, the way I define myself tends to be based on the weird shit that goes on in my head rather than, you know, those physical characteristics. But there are times, like, I don't think I ever feel white, but sometimes I become more aware of the Japanese aspects, if that makes sense. So like, there's never a point where something happens and I'm like, oh, I feel heaps white. That never happens. But there might be something that happens, and then I go, oh yeah, I'm Japanese or half Japanese, I think because I'm in Australia, which is very white culture dominated, probably that's the reason I don't ever have a moment where I'm like, I'm heaps white. And in Japan, I don't really feel that. I feel like, oh, I'm such a tourist. That's the sort of vibe I get, is like, I don't really belong here, but I wouldn't say I feel white. Whereas in Japan, in Australia, I guess the Japanese aspect does come up a little bit more, because, like, especially growing up, that's one of the different things about me, because not every kid had a Japanese background, and like a lot of places, there's not many of us, and certainly not many half Japanese people. Like, oddly enough, bonsai, my work at bonsai, my boss is one of the few half Japanese people I know outside my own family. Like, my two brothers are half Japanese, my boss is half Japanese. I actually can't think of anyone else who is half Japanese. So yeah, and it's kind of I guess, a weird space to be in. Like, and that's why when they do, like, oh, I did that BuzzFeed privilege quiz, I think, and they're like, have you ever been the only person of your race in the room? And I'm like, yeah, because mixed race isn't that common. The places I'm going, like, mixed race, half Japanese. Of course, I'm the only person of my race. Gosh. Although there was one class where I was almost the whitest person there. That was in my jewelry class. And then this one proper, like, full white girl comes in. But until that moment, like, I was the only person who was half white. I was like, how am I, like, but that's UNSW. They had a lot of overseas students until COVID hit. So what you gonna do now? Oran berries. Why are we talking about oran berries? German Pokemon does put a whole new twist on the whole catching a Pokemon. Well, I mean, COVID, you don't really want to catch them all, do you? And now there's so many strains, it's not first generation COVID anymore. We've got a gazillion generations, and I don't know. Some of them seem kind of problematic, don't they? Catch sick Pokemon, bring them to a Pokemon Center, and have them culture the infection. Boom. I don't know. Do we have any young kids who play Pokemon who can tell us if there's such a thing? Ever seen that film, The Mummy Returns? Remember the Australians in that films didn't know they had guns over there. What Australians in The Mummy Returns? Oh no, we've got a glasses person. If you keep talking about my glasses, I will, like, legit block you. So please stop, because I know what glasses fetish is, and I don't put up with that shit on this channel. So yeah, if you're here for glasses, whatever, you can get lost. And I can see Steve Alligari, another glasses guy, message retracted. But yeah, no, fetish people, if you're trying to manipulate me into participating in whatever you've got going on, you can get lost. there are places for that. Also, consider consent is important, and you have not asked me to be in this. You're trying to manipulate me, so you can fuck off, glasses people. Bye. Or if you're here for the general entertainment that everyone is about, just stop talking about glasses and we'll get along just fine. So that's my message to glasses person. Now, as for The Mummy Returns, I don't think I watched it. That was that guy who was in like every movie for a while. What's his name? Is it Brendan Fraser? I don't know. But I have Tom Cruise, The Mummy, because like the early mummies, I think, were comedies. I don't know. And then they called the mummy Imhotep, and I'm just like, are you kidding? Why would you call him that? Imhotep was like he was a medicine man, he was an architect, he was like a genius, and he was so good at what he did that he became a god in Egypt. Like he excelled to the point that they deified him, and now you've turned him into an evil mummy. Are you insane? So I was not thrilled with that. But Tom Cruise, The Mummy, still has a touch of humor. Every now and then something funny comes up and you're just like, what? But the rest of the time it's almost like a serious movie. And then there's like some split personality type themes in there that I was not ready for when I went to see it. The main reason I went to see it, like I thought, Mummy, how good can it be? Like it's going to take Egyptian mythology and butcher it again. But I had seen interviews of Tom Cruise and the chick, I don't know the chick's name, but they were talking about the stunt that they did in the actual aeroplane to do that crash scene. And it was just so interesting to listen to how they did it and see some of the clips and so on. I was like, I'm going to see this movie. This actually I want to see what this stunt looks like, when it's all polished up. And so I went for that reason. And it turned out to be such a good movie that it's on my shelf. Although when I say good movie, remember it's from my perspective, which is very biased towards this sort of a theme. So I had no idea, but do anyone care about spoilers at this point because it's an old movie? But there's even like a Jekyll and Hyde character in there, like legit Jekyll and Hyde character. And I'm just like, well, they sprung this one on me, didn't they? Where am I up to? This chest is curse that guy and his friends. I don't know what that's about. Just trying to read up and oh, it's something to do with the mummy. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Secret the glasses are glued on. Yeah, no, actually there's like this little spot. That little red spot, like it's not as red as it used to be, but I do have to deal with that sometimes. And my doctor said like moisturizer, but I can also put hydrocortisone cream, I think, on it, which I wasn't as religious with as I should be. It's like, morning and night for 7 days, and I didn't. And so, but it has cleared up a little bit. So I've just got to be a little bit careful of that. But I think on Friday when I'm out, I'll probably wear contacts. I don't know if that'll give it enough of a break, but the glasses are glued on. The memory thing, that's kind of touched on in the Pixar movie Inside Out. The core memories form personality. I've seen bits of that, I think. I don't remember what I thought of it, though. Like, there's some depression stuff going on in there, but the inside stuff, I don't know. I don't remember enough. They're English? Is that the Aussie people were the Aussie people? They're English? I don't know. Another glass and the message retracted. What message was retracted? I'm curious every time someone does that. But anyway, from my experience, mood seems to affect the core memories I have. So depression, a whole bunch of memories of me sucking. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not depressed right now, so I can't remember what memories I had when I was depressed. But I guess just like maybe the negativity, maybe the fact that the world is shit, I don't know. But like I can think things like that. Like I know the world is shit, but it doesn't affect me in the same way right now while I'm not depressed. So I just react differently to different things, react differently to the same things. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, Yeah, memories are kind of funny because, like, we act like they're a surer thing, like, in society, we kind of act like they're reasonably certain, but, like, there's so much wishy-washiness about them, and we're unreliable witnesses, and, people can misremember stuff, and it makes you sort of question, like, how many of my memories are real? Like, I have no way of really knowing. Um oh, you're still talking about the mummy. Okay, so well, I'll leave those comments there. Uh, she wears them as a constant in joke since she went to the optician years ago. Oh dear, no, they're real glasses, unfortunately. Although while I was doing bonsai today, I was working on a Shimpaku juniper, and so they're not spiky like the ones, the juniper prostrata. They're lots of little spiky bits, whereas the Shimpaku juniper is much softer leaves. So I actually did take off my glasses to look at stuff close up. Sometimes I have to put them back on, but I was doing a lot of close up work, and because I can see close up, I think it was actually better for my eyes to just take off the glasses and do what I needed to do. With juniper prostrata, because they're spiky, like I tried that one time, but there's always a risk of it flying into your eyes. So I actually feel safer having the glasses there. Because I did have a little bit fly into my eye one day, and my boss had to get the saline on me. But with the Shimpaku, because it's very soft, like there's no risk of that. So yeah, it was nice to be able to work on something without my glasses, and especially that close up kind of work. And because like I've talked to the optometrist sometimes about this when I'm doing bonsai, if I'm looking at stuff close up for ages, I mean, we'll see if I have a headache tomorrow, but yeah, sometimes it does give me a headache the next day. And also when I look away, things are out of focus, like my eyes are slower to adjust. So the optometrist is like, every so often you should look into the distance for a bit, but it's so hard to do when you're focused and you're working on something. So it was nice to just take off the glasses and be able to, like, prune this thing, and it looked nice afterwards. It was a bit bushy, and then I came in and mainly taking the downward pointing branches, and it actually like started to get that cloud shape, and yeah, that was nice. So let me just, where am I up to? I'm just here. Okay, I'm just gonna quick go to the bathroom, guys, so we can admire the fact that my Yu-Gi-Oh pants don't fall down with the Yu-Gi-Oh. And you know what? Oh, there's not a lot in there. Damn. Okay. The hand moisturizer. That's a pro tip in the age of COVID. Have a nice big pump bottle. Yeah, if you're washing your hands a lot. Anyway, I have that all year round though, even before COVID. So there you go. Where am I up to? Where am I up to? CGI glasses. Ever had a serial killer in your country? Yeah, there are serial killers in Australia. I don't really remember which ones are ours, but we do have them. I think they're less common these days, I think, because it's harder to get away with. But yeah, no. And then also on the news today, there was that lady who had like 4 different babies die, and so she's got charged with their murder. And some people think she's actually innocent because of like maybe they had some medical condition that they had inherited. And she's considered a female serial killer, one of the few. Apparently, on the news they were saying we've only had 5 female serial killers in Australia. So presumably there's a lot more male serial killers that have been around. I just don't keep up with them because, like, I guess, like, there's sort of that romantic view of a serial killer that you get in a show like Dexter, for example. But when you look at real life serial killers, they tend to be very sad people. So, you know, it's depressing to read about them. I don't enjoy looking at real life serial killers because you just realize like they're kind of losers, and yeah, so I don't really keep track of them. God damn this nose. Oh, she is the serial killer. Ah! I mean, I've killed my share of bonsai over the years, especially when I was depressed. But there are some bonsai that just have trooped through the whole thing. So mainly my figs. Figs are great. Like, you know, they're so forgiving, especially in like Sydney weather. Yeah, they survived my depression. If a bonsai survived, like, especially when I was younger, they're doing all right. Orange berries. Oh, thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm so behind on my comments. Orange berries is what you need for Mill Tank in Gen 2. Yeah, and then you get the milk from that shop, I guess. Yeah, no, that's what that was about. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind on the comments. But yeah, thank you for clearing that up. The Mill Tank thing, they're sick with something, and then you feed them oran berries, which I think restore HP. So it's still the same basic idea, but it was oran berries, not milk stuff. Glasses fetish, never heard that one. I told you the internet has some strange people. Well, see, I didn't know about them either, but then I made a video about like when I got new glasses, and all these people turned up. The video did well, and like I can see in analytics which parts they're replaying, which tend to be the bits where I'm showing like exactly how blind I am and like, you know, my prescription, I think, from memory. And then I got some weird messages on Facebook from this person who was like pretending like they were asking about my glasses, and I called them out on it. I'm like, this is a fetish thing. And they're like, oh no, I'm just learning English and I'm very bad at it. And then they'd ask more glasses questions. And I'm like, no, I don't believe you. When you're learning a new language, you don't learn the same repetitive questions over and over. You learn stuff like, hello, what's your name? This is my name. How old are you? Where are you from? Those are the things you learn first when you're learning a new language. And those are the things that you would start off with in a conversation, not crap about your glasses. Like, come on, guys, I'm not stupid. Love how you call out the guy on glasses fetish. Yeah, just like anytime people start asking weird questions about glasses, I don't trust you. So I often confuse the English accent with the Australian accent. Well, I mean, there's different Australian accents, right? And for a long time, Australia did have that sort of British received pronunciation on the air. And there are some sort of like upper class Aussie accents. And I think, who's that? Daisy something. She's that conservative who's often on Sky News. I think her name's Daisy, and she has that sort of upper class Aussie accent. I don't know if that's put on or if people actually talk like that in real life, because I haven't bumped into many of them. But it's almost British, but there's just like a hint of something that tips you off that it's Aussie. But I think mine's probably more just like a Sydney accent. If you go further out west, though, you get more of the Bogan accent. I don't know, the south of Sydney is probably just Bogan as well. I'm not sure. I think Queensland, you get more of a shift in accent. But it's hard to say. And I think the Australian accent is gradually influenced by American accent. Yeah, like that. I mean, there's no single Australian accent. There's probably things in common about all our accents, but like, you know, in the same way that you know, Doctor Who the first one on the reboot, why do you sound like you're from the north? And he says lots of planets have a north, but like even within like that sort of London, Britain kind of thing, they have accents in different parts of the place. So yeah, there's more than one Australian accent. I can never get on board with the world is shit mentality. There's a lot people can do to make the world a better place. Oh, like, it's better if you don't get on board with it. Like, I can't help myself. I think because I grew up, like, I grew up with Disney and I grew up with the Catholic Church and all these ideas about, like, supposedly God's in control and, good people will be rewarded, blah, blah, blah. And Disney always has the happily ever afters and whatever. And I don't know, I guess I just sort of grew up expecting that to be like, I guess I believed them too much that things would be better than they are. And so when you get older and see more of the real world, you're just constantly disappointed by it. So yeah, I guess I was primed to have higher expectations and I would really like the world to be better, but it's not. And for someone like me, like, there's not a lot I can do to change things because I'm not anyone in particular. I don't have strong enough views to go join a movement. And even if I did hold my views strongly, because I'm more of that centrist politically, there's no one to join. Like, what centrist parties are there? There used to be the Nick Xenophon one, but he chickened off the moment things looked like they'd get dodgy and went back to South Australia or wherever. And then his do they call themselves Centre Alliance? I don't know. And the thing about centrists is they don't necessarily agree. It just means you're roughly in the center, but some people might lean left on certain issues and some people might lean right on certain issues. And when you get those people together, it just doesn't necessarily mesh. Like, yes, you're all technically centrists, but it doesn't mean you have similar enough views to really come together. So yeah, like, what would I even do if I even had the energy and like, yeah, I'm not someone with any influence. Even as a YouTuber, I'm a small YouTuber. I'm a nutcase. I'm a weirdo. So, like, I don't have mainstream appeal, and I don't intend to make myself someone who has mainstream appeal. Yeah, there's not a lot I can do except vote, really. Like, there are proper ways, for example, to do petitions and protests, but even when you do it right, there's only so much attention you can draw. So, yeah, there's not a lot I can personally do. So there you go. I'm just trying to work on myself. Female serial killers are rare. Yeah, they are. The female psychology is different to male psychology. So there's that. Also, like, males have testosterone, which does tend to boost aggression. And so, yeah, there's stuff like that. I think there was a thing, I don't know if this is true, but from a high school textbook, there was something like if a woman has an extra X chromosome, that tends to correlate somehow with serial killers and the more X's you have. But I don't know if that's true because that's just like a memory I have. Remember, memories are unreliable, of a textbook, like a high school textbook from probably 2001. So it might be wildly out of date. I don't know, but that's just a memory I have. So grain of salt, but maybe there's something there. Where are we on to? How many zombies would Rob Zombie rob if Rob Zombie could rob zombies? I don't actually really know who Rob Zombie is. I know his name. I don't think I listen to his music. I'm very vague when it comes to celebrities. I know Tom Cruise because he's in a lot of movies I like. I know Jackie Chan because he's funny, although I'm a little bit off him because he's pro CCP last time I checked. Yeah, there's a handful of actors I know, but yeah, and then when it comes to music, like, I know there's a lot of big bands who are popular that I probably should know, at least from a history of metal perspective or whatever, but I don't care. I like the music that I like. I don't care about the history of the genre. Saying that it was so important doesn't change that for me. I like what I like. Definitely not as many as you should. What kind of zombies? The slave zombies or the Walking Dead? Blue hair is nice. Yay! A non-glasses comment. Thank you for coming on board with that. Like, I get it. People have things that they're into, but just don't involve me. Yeah, no, actually, I had someone someone sent me an email proposing a collaboration. I think they wanted me to film stuff for their foot fetish channel, which, like, no. But what I did appreciate is that they were very upfront with what they wanted from me. They were polite in the way they approached it. They didn't try to bullshit me. And so I was like, I sent back a nice message like, you do you, but this isn't me. And he was very understanding, and, you know, good luck to him. I get it. People are into what they're into. I just don't want to be involved, and I don't want to be bullshitted. That's what annoys me the most. You know, you can have whatever you want. Just don't try and manipulate me into doing stuff. So yeah, that guy was very polite, and like, I don't have a problem with what people do in their own time if they're not hurting anyone else. And you know, that kind of, like, you know, if they're being well behaved according to the law, I guess. Yeah, I appreciated the upfrontness, and that was a very polite exchange. It's just when people come along with these comments on YouTube thinking I don't know what they're about, I can't get into that. Walking Dead type. Yeah. Rob Zombie. Okay. Real life serial killers. Well, see, the thing about serial killers is they do often have these weird hang-ups, and maybe they have mum issues, or I don't know, like, some of them do have weird sexual issues, like maybe not glasses fetish specifically, but they are screwed up in all kinds of ways, and, you know, trying to get back at someone who, like, wronged them when they were younger, or, like, I don't know, like, there's all kinds of serial killers who have all kinds of reasons, but often they're pathetic reasons, and they're pathetic people. And it's weird that some of them don't get caught until they make, like, a dumb mistake, like getting a parking ticket. But, you know, shit like that happens. That's like, the real life serial killers are just very disappointing if you've gotten into series like Dexter, which I have somewhere. Oh, he's hidden behind the guitar. There he is. Yeah, that's Dexter there. There's also a figurine in front, so he looks a bit mangled. But anyway, what is that? Is a game controller jumping. And I think I can jump. I can do star jumps when I'm doing my growling. Thank you. I feel like I should do more gaming. Is that like it kind of reminds me of Super Nintendo controller? Stickers are so fun. Like, they're always, like, designs that I don't expect, because, like, I'm not familiar with the stickers that YouTube has. Did I miss a comment that relates to? I'm gonna scroll up. Okay, I don't think I missed anything. But yeah, no, I like that it's that sort of old controller style. I've seen some of the newer controllers that they come up with, some of the things. I think the older PlayStation controller was really well designed. I'm not sure what it's like nowadays. I've seen some weird stuff, like the Wii U. That was a weird controller where it has that. Was it a touchpad or a screen? I think it was a screen. I don't remember, but yeah, no, Nintendo's. I get what Nintendo's trying to do. They're kind of innovative, like with Switch, and you've got the things that come off. But I kind of think sometimes they're gimmicky. Great stream today. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been fun because, like, everyone's here, and, like, I'm still catching up with so many so many comments. Isn't it fun and exciting? And so I'm not sitting here, like, you know, scraping for something to talk about and getting heaps distracted. Well, I get heaps distracted by everything because that's me. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm not gonna get up and jump though, because, like, I'm not. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of space here, but I'm also like, yes, I fixed this, but I don't have 100% confidence that it'll completely stay up the entire time. Oh, but yeah, no, thank you. Where am I up to? Oh, I get lost so easily. Hang on. Oh, there is a bit of water. Okay. Where am I up to? Oh, the real life serial killers. Okay. My boss has received English accent. Older upper class professor. Many other older professors at my institute have that accent. Received Australian. Yeah, I think maybe when did received pronunciation go out? And I know, like, for example, with Doctor Who, Doctor Who used to always speak with a received pronunciation accent. And then I think the seventh Doctor didn't. And then there was the American one, but I think he still had an English accent. I didn't really watch that because I didn't know about it at the time. But then when they rebooted Doctor Who, it was Christopher Eccleston, and he had that northern accent, apparently. Like, I just take them at their word, right? And then they had, what's his name? The 10th Doctor that everyone likes, and I've forgotten his name. Oh no, David Tennant. And he could have used his accent, but maybe people would have had trouble understanding him. I don't know. So he had, I think, Rose's accent. And then what did they do after that? It was Matt Smith. I don't know what his accent was. He didn't seem to have much of a strong kind of thing going on. Peter Capaldi. Yeah, I don't know. He had maybe more of that. Is it an Edinburgh kind of accent? I'm not going to talk because I don't know. But I think the current chick, I think maybe I read somewhere that it's gone back to that northern thing. But I really struggle with the accents that they use on Doctor Who now. Like, I think they were going for diversity, but I'm not British. I don't hear these accents all the time. And sometimes I just can't. I just miss dialogue. And, they put too much dialogue in anyway. But I struggle with Doctor Who these days. And I don't even know if it's on. Like, I was very disappointed with the way that last season ended, although I think the Christmas special was not as bad. But yeah, I don't even know. Like, is it still running? Is it still on? I don't know. Doctor Who, it hasn't been good for a long time, and I don't know if it's worth persisting. So yeah. Anyway, I just Googled the glasses fetish. You're right, it is a fetish. Look, everything is a fetish if you try hard enough. So, Raw Riffs, who I've done some of my covers with, like we did some cover collabs. Apparently he burped on screen and ended up in like a burp fetish forum and found out that. And yeah, apparently that's a thing. Like, if you try hard enough, everything counts. Like, someone has that fetish somewhere. It's just how people are, I guess. Watching Dexter, I just found out that Dexter is a killer. Which episode are you up to? Actually, no, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, for me, season 3 of Dexter was good the first time around. I think the second time around, though, I struggled with it. Yeah, but that might just be because of my personal hangups. Like, I watch for my reasons, which doesn't necessarily mean it has to have a good story. It just has to have the themes that I'm into. And I suspect that season 3 didn't have as much of that. For me, it's season 1, 2, and 6 are the ones that I'm most into. And so that's what I watched last time. I just completely skipped the bits in the middle. And then I think I got 7 because the end of season 6, you're like, oh my God, I have to keep watching. But for me, it's only the first third of season 7 that's good. And then it goes back into I don't really care. Season 8, I don't have on DVD, and I only watched once because the ending is so bad. There were things in season 8 that I liked, though, but then there was a lot that I didn't. So I don't know. But I feel like maybe I should watch it because they've got they're working on the new one, and I'm like, do I want to remember those things? I should probably watch the whole thing in sequence, but it took me 6 months to get through Angel, if I count Angel as an 8-season thing with Buffy at the start. And just like, I'm really bad at watching stuff. And if my life keeps getting randomly busy, how am I going to have time to do that and still do my YouTube and Neopets? I'm sorry, I'm just spitting a bit. Why not go on a mission to some part of the third world? It's not political, it's just humanitarian. For one thing, like, you can't leave Australia. We're not allowed to leave at the moment because COVID. People can come home, but they have to go through hotel quarantine. It's very hard to get a plane home at the moment. So none of that's going to happen in a while. Also, I have no interest in doing that. And I'm like the humanitarian thing, I have enough trouble looking after myself. You know, like, if I went to some developing nation, they'd be the ones helping me not die. 'Cause I'm hopeless, you know, like, look at me in my Yu-Gi-Oh! Pajamas, which I bought from the teenage boys section of Big W a long time ago because it fit me and because the girls section is just so boring. So, yeah, I have teenage boys pajamas. I think the sleeves are a little bit short. Oh, what's going on? It's getting all blurry. Hello, I'm here. Hey, come on, camera, you can do it. Yeah, so I think the sleeves are a little bit short, especially if you pull it in there. But yeah, no, I can barely even look after myself. Good luck me helping people in some other country. Like, going to Japan for a month was enough away from home for me. Like, by the end, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go home. You should get back into gaming and stream on Twitch if you want. I don't want to do Twitch because, like, there's too many social media things. I know that Twitch is the place for, like, streaming games, and I think it's got a reputation for streaming in general, but I've got enough social media as it is. It's hard enough for me to keep up the YouTube habit the way my life keeps getting busy. The last thing I need is another platform. I can't keep up. It's I've got Snapchat, right? I hardly use it because I can't. And I've stopped posting on Instagram because it's too much. Like, sometimes I'll post something on Instagram, but I'm not purposely making content. It's just if I happen to have something. I can't. For me, Facebook and YouTube are the main social media for me, and that's good enough. I can still stream on YouTube. I think streaming a game, though, is a bit trickier, especially, like, I'm in Australia and our internet is basically third world. I think the third world is, like, you know, we're about the same level from some reports, although I think certain aspects have gotten better over the past few years. But yeah, no, our internet doesn't have a good reputation here. So the fact that I can stream at all, you know, like, that's lucky enough. Let's not push our luck and try and stream a game. I'm not gonna do that. Or yeah, I think I'll probably still do, like, the screen capture in OBS, but I might still have the phone separate just so I can separate the audio more easily without having to go into some handbrake or whatever. Because yeah, last time I looked at that, I screwed it up, and I just don't want to experiment with stuff too much. And because my computer is powerful enough to render things more quickly, yeah, I just think that's a better option than trying to capture it all at once. So yeah, I'm not gonna stream games, I think, and I'm not really that into gaming. Like, I just feel like if I'm sitting there playing a game, I feel like I'm wasting time. Like, yes, I know Neopets, but that's like I'm watching YouTube and my brain just needs a little bit extra to do while I'm watching YouTube. I can't just watch YouTube. I get distracted and bored. But if I distract some of my brain with the game, then I can absorb the YouTube. So that's how that works. I'm doing two things at once and it works for me. But when it comes to, like, pure gaming, I feel like I'm wasting time. I feel like I'm wasting my life. And I think that's one of the reasons I started capturing gaming, because if I'm making content for you guys, it doesn't feel as pointless anymore. Yeah, so that's probably the only time I'm going to game is I'm going to film it for you guys, basically. When I was depressed, video games were good because, like, sometimes I would be feeling really terrible, like I'm crying and all this kind of stuff, and I can't stop. So I'd chuck on a game, chuck on some heavy metal in the background, and one of the fun ones is doing Stardew Valley, which is very cute and innocent, and just playing some really heavy death metal and stuff in the background, or something that I can sing along to, some kind of metal I can, you know. And yeah, just playing the game with this heavy metal track in the background. Sometimes Beyond Earth, I tried to do that on the old computer and, like, you know, as far as it'd take me, or maybe Age of Mythology, which my computer could run because that was an older game. Yeah, and so I'd just play the game and I'd be hollering the song and it would calm me down. But these days I'm not depressed, so I don't need the video games anymore. And it will make you feel heaps better. Continuing on with my shit world mentality argument. No, see, if you're someone who enjoys that kind of humanitarian work, good for you. but I think I'm a more selfish person. If you compare me to my brother, who is a teacher, he's worked in disability care, he's a very caring guy. He's doing all this stuff. We've both grown up with a disabled brother, and he still went out and did more disability work. I cannot do that. Like, I just didn't handle the things the same way. People are different. And so for me, it just doesn't work. And to me, the world is shit and there's nothing I can do about it. So what I try and do is just accept what it is, especially because I'm fine at the moment. It's easier to accept things and just work on myself and work on my own life. And that's my way of getting through it, I guess. And just being very on top of my stress, not taking Claritine, keeping an eye on things that might trigger depression. Those are the things that work for me. Humanitarian work doesn't. If I'm going to get anything from helping people, it'll be like when I was depressed and writing all this stuff, every now and then I get a message from someone who was going through the same stuff but didn't know who to talk to, didn't want to talk to anyone because I guess there's the stigma, whereas I was very open. They knew I wouldn't judge. They knew that they could ask me about like things I've been through, like how do you get in contact with a psychologist? Should you see a psychiatrist? Those kinds of things. And I helped people. And when I started on YouTube, I guess I helped people in the same way because I used to talk about that as well. That's okay. I can help people that way. And that does help. Like when I was depressed, it made me feel like complaining about my life actually wasn't in vain. I was helping people. A bit like how like I'm talking to you guys right now. Like it's a bit narcissistic of me to come on the internet and be like, hey guys, like just showing myself off. And, the focus of this whole thing is on me, right? Putting myself out there as if I mean something. It's narcissistic. But on the other hand, you guys are entertained and maybe interested. And so I don't feel like it's just this narcissistic me fest. Like I am helping in my own small way, in a way that I can handle, whereas like leaving my environment into a strange place where I don't have support is probably not good for someone with my conditions. So Tom Cruise is a Scientologist. Yes, and that's one of the fun things about him. I mean, Scientology is a screwed up organization, but boy, is it interesting. You got to have some crazy people in the world to keep us all entertained. And maybe that's part of the appeal of me, is I'm a crazy person as well. But yeah, no, Scientology has fascinated me for years. Although I haven't spent as much time on it in the last while. But yeah, no, it's interesting, and I still have delusions that I'll start my own cult one day, and you guys can all join it. It's called destructionism. To create, you must first destroy. Everything that you make is made by destroying something else. That's the principle of it. I don't know, like I was writing a whole mythology for it, and sometimes I might think about it, but yeah, I see, like, because I don't believe it, I can't just put it out there as if it's like a cult. And see, that's the flaw in my plan, is I can't just manipulate people. I can't just say, hey guys, here's the mythology of my religion. Now you have to believe it, because I don't believe it. So yeah, but I do believe to create, you must first destroy. So there's a thing. You guys want to join my cult? You're all destructionists now. Yeah. You should consider cleaning your room at some point in the future. I clean every Sunday, but by clean, I mean I vacuum and I also clean the bathroom. I should get rid of, I'd also like put stuff off the floor and into the box and, wherever it goes. But yeah, I should get rid of all this at some point in the future. This is the room being cleaned. Well, no, it's a Wednesday, so we're about halfway with things, my bonsai stuff on the floor, and the dog's moving. The little squash tiger I got from Japan, but of course, where's its face? There's its face. It's been squashed over the years, and I've had to sew it back together over the years, and put the stuffing back in there, and occasionally throw out bits of stuffing that's just not worth it anymore. Yeah, having dogs as pets, they are very destructive. I don't know what they're creating with their destruction. Maybe some amusement for me, or maybe just work for me. It looks exactly the same every stream. Well, that's because every Wednesday I've been to bonsai and just chucked my stuff on the floor, right? Yeah. And then we've got our sticker again. There is no room, it's green screen. I mean, why not? Why not? It could be, although it's a very impressive green screen if it doesn't cut out all the stray bits of hair that keep flying away. It streamed today. Yay! Hold up, Jackie Chan is a communist. Yeah, well, I think he supports Beijing, last I checked. I thought he was from Hong Kong. Maybe he is from Hong Kong, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit disappointed by that. But also, like, he hasn't done as many of those fun movies that I can think of. The Foreigner, I think he was in. That was good. But yeah, no, he's not as many of the fun comedy ones he used to be in. I guess he's getting old as well for some of the stunts. Um, but yeah, no, if he supports the CCP, I'm a bit like, oh, well, that sucks. Anyway, are the police crooked in your country? I think our police are probably less crazy than American cops, at least, because in America, if you think about it, they have like guns are everywhere in America. So, of course, the cops are paranoid that they could be shot at any moment. Whereas in Australia, we have solid gun control and it works with our culture. So, like, I know Australia and America are different places. If I lived in America, chances are I'd have a gun, in which case I'd probably already be dead because of the amount of times I've been depressed. But, like, America does freak me out. But yeah, no, in Australia, we don't really have guns. I mean, I've been to a shooting range. You can still do all that kind of stuff. It's just controlled so that crazies can't go on a rampage very easily. Um, you know, uh, but yeah, if you consider that, like, the cops here have a very different situation to deal with. Also, American culture is very like gung ho, like, yeah, America. Whereas in Australia, we're more like, ah, she'll be right, mate. So, yeah, but there are occasional corruption things. I feel like it's more of a thing in Melbourne. I feel like more shit goes down in Melbourne than in Sydney. Sydney is like Melbourne is where more of the excitement is in general, like in terms of music, but also, from my perception at least, in terms of crime. And there are like films about, well, films or TV shows, I don't remember. Like, that's it. That those kinds of things seem to be set in Melbourne, like talking about real life docudramas. Maybe is the word. To me, it always seems like it's happening in Melbourne compared to Sydney. Hey, Herbie, how are you? Um, Sydney tends to be a bit more boring, I guess. There's a lot of that more financial center kind of thing is my vibe. We had lockdown laws for ages, which, a lot of people were not happy with because it sort of killed some of the nightlife. But there were like people punching each other, and I know people in medical professions who used to see a lot of that crap, and so as someone who's like a musician but knows medical people, I'm kind of torn on the issue of lockdown laws, but it's all gone now. Things are not back to normal, but COVID is kind of the time to lift that kind of a restriction because everything's dead anyway. Although, with all our restrictions going, maybe things will come back to life, but a lot of the problem venues seem to have gone already. So, yeah. But basically, point being, Sydney is like the more boring city, like the more, what's the word? Like trying to be proper, trying to be financed, that sort of world. Whereas Melbourne is where all the musicians moved to, and people were telling me I should move to. And then they had the whole COVID thing happen, and I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't move to Melbourne. Yeah, so like it depends a bit where. I feel like if there are police who are crooked, it seems to be more of a Melbourne, Victoria thing than a Sydney, New South Wales thing. But that's just my perception. Like, I don't pay attention to this stuff. I trust Australian police more than I trust American police. I think things are different in different places. I hope that's an answer. Jackie Chan is sus. He disowned his lesbian daughter and married some way younger chick. Dude's a beast at martial arts, but sus as fuck. Okay, I don't keep up with celebrities enough to know any of that. So yeah. I have no comments. But the communist thing I've heard, and yeah, that bothers me. But yeah, I don't know. This, like, China could be so good if they just stopped being a dick. Like, there's so much potential in that country. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish it was different because I think there is a lot of potential there. I've gone to uni with students from China, and I mean, some of them were a bit odd, but then there were some who were like really great. And although I don't remember if they were Hong Kong Chinese or mainland. I don't know. Anyway, like basically, like even in mainland China, like some of the companies that have come up, I know there's a lot of talk about plagiarism, but some of them have genuinely come up with interesting things that the West is now copying. And like, yes, maybe there was plagiarism in the beginning and like stealing ideas. I mean, I think Japan used to be very good at reverse engineering. And I mean, Japan bonsai is actually from a Chinese tradition, and then Japan refined it, is how it's spoken of. Like, yeah, okay, I get it, intellectual property, but on the other hand, if you can then use it to progress, like, I feel like that's kind of how humanity has been, is like people building on other people's ideas, and it's more like the intellectual property is more of a modern idea. And I understand it because, if you're going to invest a lot of money in something, you want to make a return and make it worth it so that people keep putting in that effort. But to some extent, like we need to make progress. We do have to build on other people's ideas. It's another one of those sort of gray area things for me. Do a solo, guitar solo. No, I'm not doing guitar today. Like, it's already 10 o'clock. And so I'm going to have to start wrapping up for bed soon, especially because my life potentially is about to go very crazy. So I need to get really on top of my sleep habits, especially because I could be starting very early in the morning and having to travel an hour and a half, depending on, actually, it's probably an hour and a half regardless. So, yeah, I might have to start getting up really early for this scare acting, depending on when they roster me, if I get the gig. So, yeah, no guitar today. What's your favorite millennium item? Oh. So, what have we got? We got the puzzle, we got the eye, we've got the ring, we've got the what do you call that? The rod, the scales, the necklace, and the key. I don't think I have a favorite item, because like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the puzzle, but then I've got my own hang-ups about the split personality thing, and like, yeah, I don't have a favorite. I mean, I guess the rod, Marek had the rod, and like my name is almost Marek, right? So maybe that's the one I should go for. And he was really crazy and fucked up and relatable in some ways, but they're all kind of relatable. Like Yugi, Bakura, Marek, they're fun characters. And like the Orichalcos thing as well. Oh my god, when I finally got around to watching that. So yeah, I don't know what my favorite one would be. I think the eye is like bad trade because you have to trade your real eye for the item eye. Yes, but consider I'm half blind anyway. Does it make that much difference? And it lets you see a whole different world. So I don't know. I don't know. She isn't very musical. The instruments in the background are just for scenery. Well, especially the drum kit. Although I did want to play it a few months back maybe. But yeah, I realized that the hi-hat pedal, the rubber thing, has just gone stale. So I've got to buy a new what do you call it? A new hi-hat pedal, because they've redesigned it. It's a bit more expensive, but shouldn't get that same problem. And then I could maybe play some stuff, but I'm not very good. So yeah. Although if you want music, you can watch the previous live stream, because that was pretty much all music, because I was trying to preserve my voice. So yeah, I've fixed the ad issues on it now. So it should only have an ad like every 10 to 15 minutes. So hopefully that's tolerable instead of every 2 minutes like that bloody algorithm tends to do. So if you want to see me playing music, watch last week's live stream. I think that was the 17th of March, 2021. If anyone's watching this way, way, way in the future, I don't know why you would watch an old live stream so far out, but just in case. I guess if I die and people want to understand like what's going on with me, they might watch all my live streams like once I'm dead, which could be interesting and like kind of embarrassing, but I'll be dead and dead people don't get embarrassed because you're dead. So yeah, I do kind of wonder like what's going to happen to my online stuff once once I've moved on. Anyway, you never came off as the crying type to me. Well, if you look hard enough through my old videos, I think when you go to my channel and you click the video tab, it doesn't actually scroll through all my videos. There's a point where it stops. But you could always try in the search box. I don't know if there's a way to fix that issue, like whether I have to manually put all my videos into a playlist. Maybe that would make it so that you can search all my videos. I don't know. But there are videos where I'm depressed. So around 2016 I think is when I came back on YouTube like properly. I sort of was on and off for a while after I took that big break. But 2016 is when I started, really coming back to YouTube, and I was depressed until the end of 2017, I think. So there are videos there where I start crying. I think there was one about Centrelink, maybe one of my midnight musings. You should be able to find that in one of the playlists. And I was like crying on camera. So these days I'm not depressed. So that doesn't happen as much. I think when I was sick a few weeks back, I thought I was getting depressed. And like I broke down when I was talking to my doctor. But it turns out I was actually sick. So yeah, not having mood problems. She was like, actually, maybe we should check. And it turned out I was actually sick. I had lymph nodes going off and wherever they are. Yeah, so like I have cried on camera. Just like I've been messed up in the past, so it happens. Isn't this already the cult? Distractionism. I mean, like, yeah, I get distracted a lot as well. So, it could be either, really. But yeah, I don't know, like maybe when I start up the YouTube memberships, if I ever get around to it, we can call it distractionism. Or maybe I can rejig Patreon. I said I was going to do that ages ago, but maybe I could rejig Patreon to have something to do with distractionism. I don't know, but that's something we can think about, hey. I don't know if memberships has levels. I think Patreon has levels. I'm not sure about membership. So maybe Patreon, like you would have different levels of cult. But I would have to think about, making decisions about what you would name all the cult levels. That takes forever as well because there's so many options. So that's one of the things that slows these things down. But yeah, we could style everything as a cult. Distractionism. Me and Neopets is distractionism. Jim Jones was cult leader. Try not to be like him. Yeah, well, I'm being very upfront with the fact that I'm doing a sort of cult, right? So, you guys know what you're getting into. I'm not saying like I'm Jesus or anything like some of those cult leaders do. So I think you guys will be all right figuring out my bullshit. Do you scare easy? It depends on what you mean. Like, I don't watch horror, but not because I'm scared necessarily. Sometimes when I've watched horror, it's just weird. And like people go towards the scary sounds instead of away. Like, surely in your world of horror, you still have horror movies and would have watched one of these before. So why are you doing exactly what you shouldn't do? Like, the logic. I mean, some of them are a bit better in that the evil follows them around and it's impossible to escape. But in ones where like there's like some creature and they just go towards, and there's dumb stuff that's constantly happening and I end up giggling and it's just like, oh my God. So yeah, I don't really watch horror movies. I think I mentioned previously in Alien, the thing that scared me the most was not the alien coming out of the stomach, because to me that's a cliche now. When it first happened, I'm sure people were surprised. But for me, growing up later, it already had become a cliche, so I was kind of expecting it. What really got me is they're looking for the face hugger after it's scurried off, I think. I think that's what they're looking for. And someone accidentally knocks over this metallic bin and it goes bang. That made me jump. But the thing I was supposed to be scared of didn't. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends. Like sometimes if I try, like, if I'm in a paranoid mood and, things are dark, I can imagine stuff and it freaks me out. But generally, I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, gotta run. See you later. Have a nice stream. Sorry, Paper Vampire. I'm so behind on comments. How long ago did you write that? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's taken me so long to, get through all this. So bye, Paper Vampire. If you come back to watch this, Pegasus? Is that a misspelling? Pegasus felt like the stalking type? Yeah, maybe. I mean, he was pretty obsessed with a chick, and that's what motivated a lot of what he did. So maybe destructionism. Oh, John Moxley. Hello. Yeah, you've come in towards the end of the stream, unfortunately, but you're welcome to watch. It's been a hell of a stream because it's not often that I lose where I'm up to in the little comments, the live chat. So yeah, no, it's been a good stream. It's been fun. Although we've dropped off a bit now because we've been going for a while, but I do have to wrap up pretty soon. So yeah, I'm sorry. And I guess if you're coming in late, there may not be a live stream for the next 2 weeks if I get this Easter scare acting gig. So if you want to know about that, rewatch the start of the stream because I spent the first 15 minutes or so going through my news, which I'll just quickly recap. So I was talking about the ads that happen in live stream replay. I wasn't in the floods. My area of Sydney is fine. I didn't join any of the bands that I auditioned for. I might be doing Easter scare acting. There's 2 music videos coming. 1 music video, 1 lyric video, and there's a photosensitive epilepsy warning to be aware of, especially for the lyric video. And then Patreon, I need to make sure I do something, and so that's coming soon, hopefully. Quick recap. Yay for making notes for a change. Yeah, and so if I don't get this Easter scare acting gig, then we'll just do another live stream, and hopefully I will have notes again, and hopefully I can do that every week so that like the start of the stream at least is coherent, and then we see where we go. This has been a really good stream though, like even without me having the news. It's been like, so many things to talk about. Hey, but yeah, no, I think having news is a good way to start the live stream, especially like because I don't have enough time to do a lot of vlogs, and I don't have the house to myself a lot of the time. So yeah, having news at the start, I guess, is like the vlog section of the live stream, like the vlog replacement. And so people who are watching on replay can actually get a bit of that, even if they don't end up watching 2 hours. Maybe for the first 20 minutes, it's a bit like a vlog. So yeah. Stupidity is so common in horror films, and I have caught up. 2 hours, 16 minutes to catch up with all the comments. So yeah, I really am going to have to, wind down for the night. I've still got to log into my bank and, get stuff sorted. God, I've got things to do tomorrow because I got to get ready to meet these Easter guys. Yeah, and I got to get on top of my sleep cycle. So thank you everyone for joining me for this live stream. It's been one hell of a ride. Like, wow, bam, 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 bam. So many things to talk about. So yeah, as I said before, keep an eye on my community tab, because if I get this Easter gig, that's where I'll let you know about it. Otherwise, just keep an eye out for the next live stream schedule. So it'll be one or the other. I might post in the community tab either way. So if I do get it or if I don't get it, if I don't get the Easter gig, then I'll post the next schedule into the community tab, because it doesn't always show up where I expect it to. So at least it'll be in the community tab, and you can check there to know whether or not there's going to be a live stream next week. But if I get that Easter scare acting gig, it'll probably not be live streaming for the next 2 weeks. Possibly not any videos, except maybe the music video, depending on how things pan out. Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe Friday I might know, but yeah. Cheers for the great screen. I'm thinking too much about scare acting, and so my mind said scream. Great stream is what I'm trying. Being great while playing Pokemon and Neopets. Oh, so you're playing Pokemon somewhere. Yeah, I'm just out of the loop with Pokemon. It's changed too much for me, but yeah, and I haven't checked my Neopets yet, I don't think, so I should probably do that before bed, or maybe I can do it tomorrow morning because it won't be midnight in Neopia yet for a while. Yeah, anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you when I see you, and I don't know, so keep an eye on that community tab. I know it's, like, not something a lot of you look at, but yeah, that's where things are gonna be. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you whenever. Bye.